He whispered my name once before everything shifted, not in affection, not in desire, a tremor. I felt his breath falter behind me, like guilt suddenly lodged in his throat. I turned, half certain the world had stopped spinning, because his eyes weren't on me anymore. They were on the front door. And then, a sound too sharp, too deliberate. The room stilled. Sheets like evidence tangled around my legs. My pulse thick, slow. He froze, fear swallowing whatever pleasure existed a second ago. I hated that fear on his face, not because it frightened me, but because it confirmed something. A secret. A rot. Another knock. My voice didn't shake. Cover yourself. I walked barefoot across cold marble, every step a calculation. Calm, silent, almost curious. The deliveryman stood tall, eyes too steady for someone holding a cardboard box. "You are Mrs. Judge Aaron Hale?" My throat went hollow. "Yes." He handed me the package. Light, innocent, wrong. Inside, a DVD marked in red ink. How was the taste of the Judge's Johnson? The words crawled across my skin. A joke, a threat, a confession. Before breath returned to my lungs, metal glinted, a Magnum, raised, calm. Behind him, 5 men pushed in like ghosts with purpose. That day, everything changed. But it didn't start there. It started months earlier, when I put my husband in prison to get him out of my way. A small nudge, a forged signature, a quiet whisper in the right ear. He thought he was untouchable. I proved him wrong. And while he sat behind bars, thinking guilt was punishment enough, I tasted freedom, power, control, and the sweet relief of not pretending to love a man who only loved the reflection of his authority. Then I met someone else, a distraction, a mistake disguised as desire. His touch? Meaningless. His presence? Irrelevant. He was never the story. He was simply noise when the truth started bleeding in. Because a month ago, I received a message. Enjoy your freedom while it lasts. No number, no signature. At first, I assumed it was him, my husband, trying to cling to the shards of control he imagined he still had. I was wrong. I began watching, listing names, cross-checking files. Every lawyer he'd humiliated, every criminal he'd sentenced with a smirk like justice belonged to him alone. Phone logs, financial trails. A prison camera glitch that wasn't a glitch. Someone visited him, twice. A man with no recorded face. I didn't panic, not outwardly, I simply prepared. Because secrets rarely drown silently, they float, swollen and grotesque, until someone drags them ashore. And I dragged. DNA from a cigarette butt left near my gate. A fingerprint half smeared on my mailbox. A bank transfer routed through 7 accounts. 2 belonged to shell companies tied to a syndicate my husband once double-crossed. He didn't only betray me, he betrayed them too. My act of betrayal, compared to his, a whisper against a scream. When I confirmed it, the truth settled inside me like ice. He hadn't been a victim. He hadn't been unlucky. He had been planning to come back, not to reclaim me, but to destroy me for daring to exist beyond him. When they stormed my home that night, guns raised, I did not tremble. Not even when one man pressed cold steel to my throat while the deliveryman slid the DVD into the player. Static. Then the prison visiting room. 2 men. One smile I recognized. My husband's. Too calm. Too certain. "I made you," he said to the camera, voice smooth like poison. "And I will unmake you." He spoke like God. He always did. The screen cut. Silence. Breath held tight in my chest. The man with the Magnum studied me, not with hunger or cruelty, but with calculation. "Smart woman," he said, "too smart to keep him alive." A pause, heavy, decisive. "You bought time," he continued, "but he wants you broken. We admire a cleaner ending. Admire. Not pity, not sympathy. Power respects power." I exhaled slowly. "Then, give me the honor," I whispered. "Let me end what I started." Their stillness answered before words did. I walked to the phone. One number dialed. A voice answered, trembling with surprise. "Aaron Hale is dead," I said. A lie in its timing, a truth in its outcome. He won't return. The men watched me, measured me, and then, like shadows satisfied, they left. The door closed. Silence bloomed. My lover stared at me like he'd just seen a stranger. He had. I pulled the sheet around me and breathed in the quiet. I didn't win out of rage. I didn't survive out of love. I listened. I planned. I acted. And now, I feel nothing. Justice isn't loud. Revenge isn't fire. It is a whisper in the dark. You should never have tried to own me.